Hey everybody, it's Joanne Muse of the Tax Lien Lady live on Facebook, on my Facebook page to answer your questions. This is Answer the Tax Lien Lady live, where I answer your questions about tax lien and tax deed investing. Okay, so I got on here a little bit early. We start at 2 p.m. and I don't know if you can hear my clock chiming in the background, but it's about a minute early. My pendulum clock chimes about a minute early. So it just turned over on my computer. I could see it's now 2 p.m. So this is the official start time of Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live. And we did get some questions ahead of time. So I have a bunch of questions to answer today. But as you come on, just say hello. Let me know what state you're from, where you're investing, so that I know how to best answer your questions, because it's very different in different states. So I believe my assistant Debbie is with us today to help us with these questions, and she'll be putting the questions into the Facebook comments, or Debbie, you could put them in here on live stream, but I think you're on Facebook, not on the live stream. So you could just put them into the comments. And I do want to let everybody know about the wealth building webinar. Yes, we are bringing back the wealth building webinars. Now, we used to do a wealth building webinar every month, and you could get the replay if you're a member of wealth building webinars. Well, we don't have membership for just for the wealth building webinars anymore, but we do make it available to all our members of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, the replays of the wealth building webinar. However, you could come free to the live training. So our next training is February 15th. It's the day after Valentine's Day. It's Thursday, February 15th. And our guest is Eric Hudson, who was one of the speakers on our wealth building conference this year. In the wealth building conference, he talked about his automated budgeting system, how you could automate your budget easily. But he's going to be talking about something different in this wealth building webinar. He's going to be talking about how you can be your own bank with an infinite banking policy. This is something that I did for myself a couple of years ago. I got my life insurance license so that I could write my own policy. And because Eric is a lot better at it than I am, I gave him my policy, and he is writing me a better policy. So you'll hear more about that on the webinar that we do, but I still have to go through the application process for the new company. So we'll tell you about that. And how you could do that. As a matter of fact, one of the questions that we got ahead of time was how to get money for investing in tax liens. And you know what? That's why I have my infinite banking policy, so that I could put money away in that policy that I could use as collateral to borrow against at a really small interest rate, and use that to invest in something that makes me more interest, like tax lien investing. So that's one way that you could get money for investing in tax liens. And hi, Debbie, thank you for being here. You know what, Deb, you could put the link in the comments for the wealth building webinar, so that everybody knows where they could go to register for the free webinar, for the live training. They can go to taxlienlady.com /free dash, I'm sorry, it's taxlienlady.com /live dash free dash webinar dash registration. Okay, you can put that link in the comments for them. And we've got a question from Thomas. If you invest in a tax lien in Texas for the 25% interest rate, and the homeowner doesn't redeem for 2.5 years, do you only get 25% interest across the 2.5 years? No, you don't. You get 50%. So if it redeems in the first year, you get 25%. But if it redeems in the second year or later, you get 50%. You cannot get more than 50% in Texas. And we have more questions. Debbie, did you get the other questions that Nicole had sent? you could put them in as well. I know she sent, okay, so Debbie just sent the link to register for the webinar, and thank you, Deb, for that. And you could give me one of the other questions. I already answered the one about how to get money for tax liens. One of the ways I talked about is having an infinite banking policy and putting the money in there, but there are other ways as well. Now, Birgit, who was a longtime member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, had a question about clearing the title to her Colorado deeds that she got from liens that she had in Colorado. So in the past, she used a property called Meridian Title, and she says they don't clear the titles anymore. So here's what she's referring to. So when you foreclose on a tax lien property or you buy a tax deed property, you don't get a warranty deed. Usually you get a tax title deed. It's kind of like a quitclaim deed. So you're not getting a warranty deed. And if you need title insurance, you need to clear the title on the property. So the way that you do that is with a quiet title process with an attorney. But it takes a long time. And in some states, it can be expensive. Actually, in my state, in Pennsylvania, it's not very expensive to use an attorney, but it does take a long time, whereas there are companies that can do it faster. And she said that Meridian Title no longer does it in Colorado. So Birgit, U.S. Tax Deed Solutions might do it. If you talk to Brenda Flatter from U.S. Tax Deed Solutions, she'll let you know if they do that in Colorado and how much money it is. I believe they give you a break for land. I believe it is less money for land. And the other company that I know of is Tax Title Solutions. I'm sorry. Trying to remember the name of the company now. Tax Title Services. So the two companies that I know of are U.S. Tax Deed Solutions, and the other company is Tax Title Services. Okay. Those are two companies that specialize in clearing the title so that you could get title insurance. Okay. All right. So that answers Birgit's question. And we have another question from Aleda from the Facebook group asks, is there any way to see the property before the sale? Well, you could drive by the property and look at the property and take pictures of the property. But if you step foot on the property, you're technically trespassing the property until it is sold at the tax sale. If you're going to a deed sale, is still owned by the owner of the property, right? But if you're going to a lien sale, even after you buy it at the tax sale, you're buying a lien, even in a lot of redeemable deed states. In Texas, you are considered the owner once you buy the redeemable deed. But in other redeemable deed states, you still don't have any right to the property, and you're considered a trespasser if you step foot on the property. Now, that being said, if the property is vacant and it's a deed sale, there are some states that do let you inspect it. The state of New York, for their deed sales, they actually have days where you can inspect the property before you bid on it. And the state of Michigan, although you cannot go on the property and inspect it, some of the counties do really good descriptions of the property with pictures. All right, so it just depends. Now, what I don't know about Aleda is I don't know what state that you're in. So I don't know really how to answer that, or whether you're going to a deed sale or a lien sale, but typically you cannot look at the property before you bid on it. Okay, and Sarah is asking, in Texas, if you win a property at a sheriff's sale that went to the sale because of an HOA lien, what happens to the remaining mortgage? And honestly, Sarah, I don't know because HOA sales are not my thing. Tax sales are. So if it's in a redeemable deed sale, if it's in a tax sale, that I am an expert on. But if it is in a HOA sale, I don't know much about that. And that I would ask the sheriff's department or whoever does the sale, what happens to the mortgage. I'm not sure if it goes, I'm not sure if HOA liens are super liens like tax liens are. Okay. If it was a tax sale, the mortgage would go away because they have the ability to pay the taxes. Now, in this case, they had the ability to pay the HOA fees too, and they didn't. So but I don't know what happens. Okay. And Brent asks, how can I improve my system? I have purchased a few Texas redeemable deeds before. I also want to invest in deeds in Georgia and liens in South Carolina. Well, first of all, South Carolina is redeemable deeds. Georgia is redeemable deeds also, but the redeemable deeds in Georgia are more like liens. At the end of the year redemption period, you actually have to get an attorney and foreclose. South Carolina is a redeemable deed, which is more like most redeemable deed states, not Texas, where you're the owner when you buy the redeemable deed. But in South Carolina, once the redemption period is over, you get the deed to the property. You don't have to go through foreclosure like you do in Georgia. So those are like three very different states, Texas, Georgia, and South Carolina, even though they're all considered redeemable deed states. So how can you improve your system? Brent, I don't know because I don't know what your system is, but what my clients and I use is something called Tax Sale Finders, which is only available through my membership or my coaching. But Tax Sale Resources, which powers Tax Sale Finders, they have other programs that you can use to simplify your investing, but I don't know what your process is. So that's something what I would recommend, Brent, is that you get a clarity session with me and we go over that and see how you could simplify your process. Now, in order to do that, you could go to taxlieninvestingmentor.com and fill out that application and schedule a session with me. The session it's a $297 value, but you can get that for free when you fill out the application form at taxlieninvestingmentor.com. And Debbie, you could put that link in there for them. And it's HTTP. Don't put the S on the end because it's a redirect. http://taxlieninvestingmentor.com. All right, and we have another question from Sarah. What types of liens do not get wiped away in a deed or redeemable deed states? Okay, this is going to be specific to the state. This is specific to the state. Okay. In most states, anything except for a government lien is wiped at a tax sale. Okay, because they can come and pay the taxes and take it out of the sale. And if they don't, they're out of luck. There are exceptions to that in different states. In New Mexico, that is not what happens. In New Mexico, all the liens stay on the property. In Pennsylvania, where I live, there are two different sales. There is an upset sale that usually happens in the fall and a judicial sale that usually happens in the spring. If you buy it in the upset sale, you are responsible for any liens or mortgages on the property. If you buy it in the judicial sale, everybody's been notified that the property is going to go into a judicial sale and any liens will go away except for government liens. Okay. Oh, and you're asking for Texas. Okay, yeah. So any liens are going to go away except for government liens. But Sarah, you better check into those HOA liens because that's changing in some states. I know in Georgia, they will stay on the property. I'm not sure about Texas. It could be different for each county. So you would just want to check into that. That's something that's changing in some states. Okay. Any other questions? Do we have any other? And did I get to all the questions, Deb? And you're welcome, Sarah. Thank you for being here. All right, Kat Childers from the Facebook group. I'm getting tongue-tied. From the Facebook group. By the way, we have a private Facebook group. Okay. And on Thursdays, I do a tax investing tip inside this group. So some of these questions are coming from our group. It's free to join the group. It's a private group just for people that are interested in tax lien investing. So you can join the group. You just have to answer some questions and agree to the terms. And the only reason we ask you the questions is we want to make sure that you're interested in tax lien investing or tax deed investing. And that's why you're joining. Okay. We don't, and our terms are that you're not there to solicit anybody in the group. Okay. But that's where some of these questions are coming from. And I do a tip in there every Thursday at 12 p.m. on Thursdays. I do a tax lien investing tip. So Kat Childers from the Facebook group asks, where are the best places to buy liens? Okay, here's the thing. There's not like one really good state to buy liens. It really depends on where you live and how much money you have to invest. And my favorite places to buy liens are not going to be your favorite places, because my favorite places to buy liens are an hour away from my house. All right. I like to go close to where I am. Now, do I invest elsewhere? Yeah. I invest for a tax lien investing fund. Right now, most of our liens that we buy are either in Florida or New Jersey. So those are two of my favorite states, but I have a couple of other favorite states too. And it's not really the states that are good. It's the particular sales in the states that are good. So any state can have good tax sales. You just have to find the best ones in that state. And what I recommend is a couple of things. Number one, stay away from big cities because they're going to be very competitive. And you really have to know the area. If you're investing in one of those larger cities, you need to know the areas, because there's good areas and bad areas in the big cities, and you need to know what's what. All right, like take, for instance, Detroit or Pontiac, which is next to Detroit, but in a different county. One street could be good, and a couple of streets over could be so crime-ridden that if you have a house there that you're renovating, it could get robbed every day, you know. So, but a street or two streets over might be okay. So you really just have to know the area. So here's what I suggest: invest in areas that you know. That's the best. That's what I do. Those are my favorite places, areas that I know. And then there's other favorite places that I kind of stumbled on by accident. But I like them because they're an hour away from my house. So they won't be your favorite places because they are live. They are sales that you have to attend live. So I would look for the live sales near me and find the ones that are less competitive. Okay. All right. So Debbie, did we go through all the questions? Anybody else have any other questions? Go ahead and type them in, put them into the comments, and I will see them here. I'm on StreamYard. This is being streamed live from StreamYard to my Facebook page. Okay. And Brandon asked, how can I get the money to invest? And Debbie, I did answer that in the beginning. I talked about the infinite banking policy as one way to save money to invest in tax liens and actually make interest on your money twice, because the money that you have in that policy, you're using as collateral to borrow from. You're borrowing it from the insurance company, okay? And you could use 90% of what's in your cash value as collateral, and you're not going to pay any taxes on it either. Now, Now, one thing is that you will pay interest, but your interest is going to be really small compared to the interest that you're going to make on your investment. So it's a way that you can make interest twice on your money, because even though you're paying a little bit of interest to borrow that money, the money that's sitting in your account is still making dividends and interest. So the interest that you're paying back is not going to equal what that's making for you. So you're going to make the arbitrage, okay? On top of that, money that you borrowed is out there making interest or making money. So you're making money twice on your investment. So that's one way. But if you don't have any money to invest, so the first thing that I suggest is that you start saving money before you take money to invest. Start saving money, and the best way to do that is with an infinite banking policy. And again, if you want to find out more about that, our next wealth building webinar on February 15th is all about that. And Debbie, you could put that link in again to the comments for everybody. But what if you want to invest now and you don't have the money in there now to invest? So here's what I recommend. I do not recommend you borrow money from anybody else except for yourself. So if you have an infinite banking policy, you could use that to get money to invest. But if you don't, I do not recommend that you borrow money, because you don't get paid on a tax lien until the owner of the property decides to pay it. All right. And if you have to pay monthly payments on your loan, that might not work. Okay. Here's what I recommend. Find a partner. Find a partner that wants to invest in tax liens, doesn't know how to do it, and you could be the boots on the ground and do the work and split the profit. Okay, that's what I recommend. Okay, and Debbie has put that link in there again for you to sign up for the webinar that we are doing February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. So that's all the questions that we have gotten ahead of time. And I answered a couple questions from Sarah that she brought to this call. So here's the last call, guys. I'm going to take a sip of water. Last call for questions. If you have questions, put them in. Also, if you're watching, let me know. Say hello. Let me know who's here and what state you're from. Yes, and Debbie also just put in that into the comments for you that the Wealth Building webinar is next Thursday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. All right, so if we have no more questions, I am going to end this Facebook Live. Come next week, bring your questions. Okay, I'm here at 2 p.m. every Tuesday and 12 p.m. on Thursday. I do have one more announcement for you. I will be sending this out in my newsletter next week, so keep your eye open. Next Tuesday, my newsletter comes out, but I am going to be speaking at the National Tax Lien Association conference. Their conference is March 6th through the 8th. I will be speaking on the 7th. I'll be on a panel about OTC liens and deeds. Okay, and because I'm a speaker, I can give you a discount for attending the conference. Now, it's and I had to pay to attend, even though I'm speaking. So. It's not cheap to attend this conference, but let me tell you, it includes a lot of good stuff. It includes on the first day of the conference, that first evening, they have a outing on a yacht with food and drinks. You get food and drinks through the whole conference. So it really is a good value, and I can get you $300 off. So off the ticket to attend the conference. So keep your eye on your inbox next week. And hey, Gary, it's good to see you. And Gary's asking, are there any good tax lien or tax deed sales in the next month? Okay, Well, you know that Florida has deed sales all the time, and Texas and Georgia have their redeemable deed sales the first Tuesday of the month. So the information is out there on tax sale finders for the first Tuesday of the month for Texas and Georgia sales. And what is going on right now are the Arizona tax lien sales are happening now. And after that, they're all done by the end of February. They're done. As a matter of fact, by the middle of this month, some of them are going to be over. But once the Arizona tax sales are over, the Indiana commissioner sales, which are all sales with only a 4-month redemption period, they will be starting. So that's what's going on. And yeah, Debbie's talking about the OTC. OTC is over the counter liens and deeds. That's what I will be speaking on at the National Tax Lien Investing Conference. And it's really the, are they deals or duds? It's really what to watch out for. And I do not recommend OTC investing. It's something that I don't do. And I can tell you why. That is what I'm going to be doing at the National Tax Lien Association Conference. And I actually have experience looking into these in Pennsylvania, where I live, in Arizona, personally going to Arizona, and where else? In New Jersey, where they really don't exist. So I do have experience with this in different states, and it's not a pretty picture. Okay. And Debbie's asking, can I become a member of Tax Sale Finders? Okay, so we've got a question about that. The only way to get into Tax Sale Finders is through membership in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. Okay, but Tax Sale Resources has other things that you can be a member of. So you can check out what Tax Sale Resources has at taxsaleresources.com. And if you want to be a member of Tax Sale Finders, if you want to have access to Tax Sale Finders, the only way to get that is to have a membership with the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. And Debbie, we could put a link in where people can find out more about membership. Now, here's the thing, though. Membership in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, Tax Sale Finders is just one of the things you get. It's not, but what you really get are all my courses, workshops, master class. Some of the master classes that we've done. It's just a wealth of information. Plus, you get one coaching call. We've kind of changed it now, where you get one coaching call with me a month when you're a member of the Tax Sale, what's it called? The Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, my membership area. So when you're a member now, you get a coaching call with me a month, and we're bringing back wealth building webinars. So you get all the recordings of all the wealth building webinars that we've done. By the way, the last one that we did was in March of 2023, before we kind of ended it for a while, and then now we're restarting it up again. But the last one we did that March was with Brenda Flatter of the U.S. Tax Deed Solutions. And they're the ones that do the title certification process for tax foreclosed properties, whether they're deeds or tax liens that have been foreclosed on. All right. So that's the only way to get Tax Sale Finders, is to become a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. And Debbie, if they go to taxlienlady.com/membership, they can go to that page and find out all about the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, which is my membership program. And you could join for a year, or you could join monthly. And I'll give Debbie the chance to put that link in there for you into the comments. It's just taxlienlady.com membership. Thank you, Deb. Oh, you know what? I don't know if it'll work with the S on the HTTPS. You might just have to do HTTP, because it's, oh no, that's not a redirect. It should work. It should work. Okay. All right, so that's all I have for you today, and I will be here next week. And if you're in the group, in the Facebook group, again, it's free to join. It's at facebook.com/groups/tax lien investing success. That is the name of the group, Tax Lien Investing Success. So Deb, you could put that link in there for everybody too. If they're not a member of the group, they can join the group. All they have to do is answer some questions and agree to the terms. So it's facebook.com/groups/tax lien investing success. And I will be in there on Thursday with a really short, I just give these little short tips every Thursday at 12 p.m. All right. So we are going to end this Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live for today. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. And thank you, Gary, for saying hello. It's good to see you again. And thank you, Debbie, for your support today. Okay, bye, everybody.